Hi everybody, Chris Stokes from Custom Fitness Personal Training Studio here in Amarillo, asking, are you present? What's that mean? Well, we've all heard in the work side of the world that, there's being absent and there's absenteeism. There's actually a new word now that's circulating that you may or may not have heard of, and that is presenteeism, and that's where you're actually present at work, you're there, but you're not actually being productive. You're just being busy, or you're really not doing anything, looking on Facebook, or, whatever may have you. But so, being absent or absenteeism is where somebody's actually not at work. So they're sick, they're injured, they just decided to take a day off for some reason, whatever it may be. That's what falls into the level of absenteeism. Presenteeism, again, is where somebody's there, they're physically there, but they're not mentally there. Maybe they went through a hard breakup, maybe they went through a hard weekend, and they just can't really think cognitively the way that they need to be productive at work. So this applies not only in work, but in health, in life, in fitness. There's so many places that we as humans become very lazy. We start going through the motions. Think about the last time that you drove to work, and did you pay attention to the road the whole way there, or did you just kind of show up and all of a sudden you're like, man, I really don't remember the last 5 minutes of my drive or the last 10 minutes of my drive. And that can be kind of scary, right? Because if you start to think about the fact that maybe you're not focused as much as you should be, especially on the road, what could happen, right? Well, sometimes it's not quite as dangerous as driving. Sometimes it's the fact that we are going to be much less productive in our efforts, and we're going to be wasting our time and our energy doing things that maybe aren't quite as helpful to us. As a business owner, I have to focus on being productive instead of being busy. It's very easy to get into paperwork, into computer programs, and get very busy, but not actually get things done during the day. Now, I apply this to fitness because I've worked with people for almost 20 years now, from all ranges, from people who really didn't care a lick about working out to the people who wanted to compete in something and they were dead serious about it every time. So there's this client that I had one time that really brought this idea to mind today, that for some reason she came to mind. And long ago, whenever I was beginning training, I still held the same philosophies and beliefs that I do today, that I want to help people learn how to do this. I'm going to provide them with every tool possible, but I can't do it for you. I can't go in and do it all for you. And this woman came in and she would get very irate with me that I wouldn't keep count of every single rep that she did, that I wouldn't hand her weights every single time, that I wouldn't prepare her work area every single time. And it was because I wanted to teach her how to do it at home. She was trying to get these workouts in at home, and she never could remember what weights to grab or what equipment she needed. And so we would use these mental tips and tricks to be able to help her learn how to do that. And it was things that we had done with several other clients before, but this particular woman really did not appreciate that. And she eventually came right out and told me that she was paying me good money to count her reps for her. At which point I had to explain the other, 99% of what I do for people, from programming to motivation to, making sure that everything's safe, keeping form in check, and all those kinds of good things. There's plenty more that trainers are to do other than count reps. So it just reminded me of this mindset of the fact that she said that she wanted me to count her reps because she wanted to come in and do the workout, not to think about anything. She just wanted to go through the motions. And my problem with that is that I know that if you go through the motions, you're actually going to cut your results by about tenfold. So that means that if you're present in the moment, paying attention to your repetitions, you're actually going to increase your results tenfold. And I've seen that happen over and over again. So, going back to the idea of being busy versus being productive, have you ever experienced a workout that makes you sweaty rather than a workout that's being effective? So maybe you've gone in and you've done these workouts and you get sweaty, you get sore, but you don't ever see the physical changes that you're looking for. Well, that's where being present in the moment, obviously having a trainer who's present in the moment with you is very helpful, but being present in the moment of what you're doing will actually start to make your workouts more effective and therefore waste less time. So, again, you can increase those results just by changing your mindset, and it's so amazing. So how can you do that? Well, there's 3 ways that just came to mind earlier that I wanted to kind of bring to point here. So you can stay away from regular movement patterns. So it's really typical for people to go in the gym and work their way through the same set of machines, the same direction, the same order every day. Now, there is a specific way that like training professionals actually design programs specifically in certain orders. So you can't just go in and make it mass chaos. But if you're doing the typical gym circuit and you're constantly just going in a circle, you would really thrive, to really pay attention to what your thoughts are during that time. Like, how much are you actually focused on the exercise, and how much are you thinking about what's for lunch later, or when you're picking up the kids, or what you're doing later that afternoon? There's a lot of thoughts going through your mind. And if you change up that circuit, if you change up what you're doing movement pattern wise, then you'll actually start to build the cognition into what you're doing, bring your focus into what you're doing, and become present, therefore increase your results. So that can apply not only to the machine circuits that you go on, but also typical movement patterns. So if you constantly do a forward lunge, and that's all you do is that forward lunge, you're going to fall into movement patterns where, again, it's like driving in the car and you're not going to be paying attention to what you do. On the cardio machines, if you spend more than 10 minutes on any one machine, you will typically lose all cognitive focus on that machine, and you'll just go through the motions, not actually powering the legs with the muscles, but rather just allowing momentum to carry you. So I recommend to my clients who are going out to cardio machines to split it up. Switch up between 2 or 3 different machines. If you're going to do 30 minutes, split it up and do several machines, so that way then you've got time to regain that focus and re-push, so that you're not wasting that 30 minutes. Because if you're going to take time away from your day, from your family, from your friends, whatever it may be, to go and work out, make sure it's worth that time, that you're not wasting that time. So that basically leads to complacency whenever you're doing things like that. We just want to kind of stir the pot, get things going, get your brain working. So number 2, little tip is to count out loud. So if you're standing there doing bicep curls and you're not thinking about them, you're kind of looking all over the place, you end up with some imbalance issues, first off. But secondly, you may not be breathing correctly, you may not be focused on the exercise, but if you start to count your reps, you have to breathe. And if you count your reps, then you're really paying attention to what you're doing. Now, you don't have to be shouting them in the gym or anything, but you can definitely count them out loud to a point that you can hear them, that you can feel your breath, and that you can become cognizant of your movements. Okay, so number 3 is to remember the intensity that you should be moving at. So if you're doing cardio, you should be working at a level where you could talk but not sing. If you want to do some sprint cardio, some burst training, then you want to be able to get out a few words but not really have a conversation, and then bring it back down to that talk but no sing. So if you're at a level below that, if you could sing during your cardiovascular exercise, you're probably not pushing hard enough, not going to get the right results. But again, that goes into our comfort level of just kind of going through the motions. We don't pay attention as much, we take longer breaks, we move a little slower, and we don't realize how much damage we're doing in the effectiveness of our program. So whenever we're talking about strength, what should we be aiming for intensity-wise? Well, the last 3 to 4 reps of any exercise that you do should take your focus to get them done. Not meaning that your arms are about to fall off or your legs are shaking so bad that you can't push that bar back up, but they should take enough focus that it really draws you mentally into that exercise in order to push those weights wherever you're going with them. So we want to make sure that those last 3 to 4 reps, that we've got enough weight to make those a serious endeavor. Really keep an eye on form though. Make sure that it's not so much that, like say, you're losing good form, because you always want to maintain that good form unless you're, working in a whole different realm than safe fitness. So feel free, if you need some help with those things, to give us a call, 806-322-3188. We'd love to be able to help you figure out how to be more present in your workouts without a lot of extra thought on your part, because we provide the done-for-you plan. We tell you exactly what to do, when to do it, how to do it, and we walk you through it. The only thing you have to do is actually be present. So, hope you got something great out of today. We'll talk to you soon.